They're buying media with your tax dollars. Well, I grew up in Canada, and I've talked about this for years. You don't need to go to Venezuela to have entirely government-funded news. When I grew up in Canada, all we had was the CBC. It is government-funded. So this brings us to, with all of the crazy news that comes out of Canada, we figured that we actually need to turn it into a segment because it's very important to see it as a cautionary tale. It's America Light. Elon Musk called them out. The Prime Minister is mad about it. This is our first installment of No Canada. That's nice.
That's pretty simple.
Not bad.
Simple. Yeah. We'll probably need to add some lyrics to it.
Still better than Gerald's.
Yeah. It's still better than Gerald's stinger.
You had like 3 minutes to do this one as well.
I know. I know. You mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, love. So last week, the Canadian opposition leader, Pierre Poilievre, however you say it the wrong way in English, called for labeling of the Canadian Broadcasting Company, also known as the CBC, as state media. Here you go.
In a controversial move, social media giant Twitter has labeled the CBC's Twitter account as, quote, government-funded media. The news was shared last night on Twitter by Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre. Poilievre was the one who had asked Twitter to add that label to the CBC.
And this is what they do in the media, right? It's a soft bias, Jim. They go, quote, government-funded media. Well, who funds them? The government. So why the quote? I felt like it. But the quote would imply that I know what it implies. Yeah. I'm pretty good at my job. So this weekend, Twitter marked CBC as, quote, 70% government-funded media. And then the CBC protested, saying that they are less than 70% government-funded. And this is why I love an autist billionaire being in charge, because Elon Musk responded, changing the label to 69%. Now, to be clear, before you fact-check it, it's actually 65.6%.
So close.
Yeah, so close. But
so close.
I think that's a little more accurate than what they would claim, that they are not government funded.
I love it.
And a lot of people don't realize this. I talked about this. In Canada, when people talk about the corporate media in the United States, yeah, it has its problems, but the alternative is government funded media. Obviously, the main benefit is decentralized media. That's why we're here. That's why we're on Rumble, by the way. Hit the like button if you're on YouTube, or comment below. Smash the Rumble button. We want to bring as many of you over from YouTube to Rumble as possible. That's the solution, but certainly not government media, which you see in socialist countries and in countries like Canada and in the UK. So Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister over there, is obviously really mad about the labeling. He issued a statement. I'm sorry, that's the wrong clip. Here we have the right clip.
We have recently switched to drinking water bottles out of when we have water bottles out of plastic. Away from plastic towards paper.
Yeah, he likes it.
The researchers, guys, you gotta have to be on top. Wrong clip. Sorry. This is, again, Trudeau was responding to the labeling of government media. Here is the clip.
Now, you sometimes hear about liberal bias in the media these days, how they're constantly letting our government off the hook for no good reason. Frankly, I think that's insulting. It's clear that they let us off the hook for a very good reason, because we paid them $600 million.
That's the third time.
I'm sorry.
Do we have the right clip?
Yeah, I got it.
I'm sorry, Jim. You deserve better than this. He's a guest.
This is unprofessional.
He's a guest in our house.
All right click.
Here's the one of Prime Minister Trudeau.
Tighten up.
Serves right across the country. Delivers local news and local content in many regions of the country. That, yes, has been challenged over the past years. But the idea of adding to that challenges and laying on by attacking this Canadian institution, attacking the culture and local content that is so important to so many Canadians, really indicates the values and the approach that Mr. Poilievre is putting forward.
See, they pull the same trick. The institutions that Canadians value.
It looked like he was. He looked like he was trying to hide from saying the people are catching on that we're thieves and we slave them and we steal their money and we make them work and the peasants are rising and we gotta ban TikTok immediately. Too much information on there right now, people.
I feel like I'm watching every Disney villain sidekick.
Yeah. That's all I see when I watch these
Like
things.
someone should smack you and be like, "You'll reveal the plan, you rube!
Change your face. You're giving it away.
You're giving it away." Yes, master.
Use the right words. Establishment. Government, which is a nice word for evil, demonic, stealing enslavers. They're for the people.
Well, here's the thing, too, and this will bring us to CNN afterwards because they're doing the same thing in the United States, again, because these people are, this goes back to Journalist. Again, Andrew Breitbart, you see his poster up there. He released something that was called Journalist, I believe, in 2009, where the White House then, the Obama administration, had a list of journalists who were used to disseminate the information that was favorable towards that administration, and they were told which stories to bury. This has been going on for a long time. The difference is in Canada, it is directly funded by the government, and you had this guy running for office. People who don't know this here, when they bitch about the corporate media, do you want the alternative to be when Trudeau was running? I think there was an NDP, I can't remember who was the NDP member, but someone said, and when I win, we will make sure to undergird our robust news media institution. $100 million. And Trudeau said, $150 million. Well, guess who won? They're buying media with your tax dollars. And just in case you don't think CBC is a joke, here are some of their best headlines. Quote, I use that accurately. The pleasure and peril of snitching on your neighbors during a pandemic. By the way, it's always peril. Just so you know, spoiler alert.
Pleasure. No.
How a non-binary Winnipeg student lives with mix of body euphoria and dysphoria. Well, I'm sure there's temporary euphoria from the drugs. And then why socialist Susan Neiman says wokeism is not leftist.
Okay.
These are the headlines from the CBC Corporation, who, by the way, fly in the face of science. You're talking about a place where you have 14-day quarantine to come back into your own country. You're talking about vaccine mandates. You're talking about shutting off the bank accounts to truckers who are protesting their government. It's scary stuff. And Canada is really close to the United States. And I mean close also as far as how they interact with the globe as a country. Sure, they're inconsequential. No one really cares about them. We could take them over without even skipping lunch. But the point is, it's the most similar culture and country to the United States that exists. And it's not that far off from where we are headed.
Yeah. Well, don't forget his famous line that you don't have a right to gun ownership for.
No, he said you don't have a right to defend yourself.
Yeah, defend yourself at all.
In Canada.
Use a gun.
He said that proudly.
Yeah.
Right.
By the way, he shut the truckers' funding off while saying they had a right to protest.
Right.
Until they ran out of money.
Yeah. But by the way, let's bring down the pike that digital centralized currency.
Oh, please.
Elon Musk, my favorite autist, spoke last night.
Favorite African, too.
Favorite African American. Is he American?
If that's the case for AI, and we're
Hold on a second. Pause. We weren't ready yet, Toolman. He spoke last night with Tucker Carlson, African-American, autistic genius. Also, by the way, we'll talk about this on Mug Club more later, this is the last free week of Mug Club, loudwithcrowder.com/Mug Club. It's what allows us to bring people in like Jim, like Nick. He's going to be here Thursday, like Hodge Twins, like Brian Callen. As we grow, expand shows, please do consider supporting it. Elon Musk talked about the threat of AI as well in that same interview.
If that's the case for AI, and we're only putting regulations after something terrible has happened, it may be too late to actually put the regulations in place. The AI may be in control at that point.
You think that's real? It is conceivable that AI could take control and reach a point where you couldn't turn it off, and it would be making the decisions for people.
Sorry, I was just making wardrobe notes from Tucker Carlson. I wrote down no more bow tie. I don't know when he ditched it. So we'll talk about that more on Mug Club, because I feel like Jim, you can just go off on the AI thing. I was like, we need to give Jim a wide open lane, and we'll talk about it on Mug Club because there's so much to get into.
Yeah.
Is there something
No. I can actually see Jim.
Oh,
how he sits.
Oh, wow, because he sits forward.
Yeah, well, yeah, and normally I can't see who I'm talking to over there, so.
Okay, well, you know what? You sit back. You don't need to admire him.
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.